Welcome to my channel, Psychic Kathleen. My name is Kathleen. I want to talk to you today about a couple of readings I did recently, which were questions related to mediumship. Mediumship is when we receive messages from spirit or from the spiritual world. Someone may ask me what their grandmother, who has passed on, has to say to them. It happens quite often. Sometimes I draw cards about that. Sometimes I just feel it. But today I did meet with a couple of clients who both were keen to know what their grandmothers had to say. So I started out by asking when the grandmothers' birthdays were, and they both recalled that well. And then a little bit of discussion about their relationship, how they felt about each other, and then we just kind of proceed from there. My feeling was one of the grandmothers had something to say about her marriage, and I turned over the Emperor card. The Emperor card is a card about father and about patriarchy, and I said to the client, I have a feeling that your grandmother had a difficult marriage. And the reason that I interpreted the Emperor that way is because the Emperor is sort of the boss of the deck, not surprising, being called Emperor. He's also the father of the deck. And she said indeed that was true. Her grandparents had a very difficult marriage. And I asked her if her grandfather was also in spirit, and indeed he is. And I said, your grandmother's message about that was that she has not been with him. So, and normally people in mediumship often relate that, you know, your grandparents are together and they're very happy, and usually that's what you hear, but that wasn't the message. And in fact, what the grandmother was concerned about was that this client was going to buckle under peer pressure and feel that she should be marrying her present partner, but she was feeling kind of resistant about that idea anyway. However, her grandmother's further message to her was, don't do it. It's wise for you to listen to your intuition, and just because your friends are all getting married, don't feel that this is something you need to do too. And she agreed. So it felt like that message was very appropriate. And that card had come up for her a couple of times in the reading, and that's something else that can happen. I am not someone who has clients shuffle the deck and pull their own cards. I always pull the cards myself. I pull them very randomly, often spreading out the deck in front, fanning it out in front of me, and then pulling a card as clients ask questions, or I'll lay out a spread and do a reading that way, particularly if the client doesn't have a specific question. But it was an interesting experience to have two clients in a row, both of them wanting to make a connection with grandparents that have passed on. So readings can be indeed picking up messages from spirit. Another question asked was, can my grandmother tell me anything about my mother's health? So she'd had some health worries about her mother, and the card that I pulled was the Page of Pentacles. And I said, your mother has done something recently physically with herself. She's taken a physical habit, and she has lifted it up to a higher level. What is that? And she said, well, my mom has been on a diet and she's lost 30 pounds. And I said, well, your grandmother wants you to pass it along to your mother that this is really positive and will keep going. She's at the beginning of it. A page is very young, so she's at the early stages of it, to keep going forward with this process, and it would improve her health and extend her life significantly. So that was another aspect of the reading. One of the other questions asked was also about mom and how she's doing, and wanting a message from grandmother about that. And that answer had come up, the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands is really about working very hard, not able to delegate any of those tasks onto anybody else, feeling really burdened, somewhat exhausted. And I said, your grandmother is concerned that your mother is taking responsibility for everybody. She's doing a big chunk of work, and she's getting quite burdened, and that's a concern. She needs to live a little, have some fun, not work so hard, and start learning how to delegate pieces of work to other people around her and get some help. That was her mother's concern. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you want to receive email notifications of my most recent uploads, then you click the bell below beside the thumbs up or the subscribe button, and you'll receive notifications of my most recent uploads in your email box. I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thank you for joining me today.